God, it's so nice to be among fellow sex educators. I can't even tell you how nice it is to have a sex-positive audience for a change. It is great. And we are such a special breed, aren't we? Sex educators. It's funny because it's like, if we do our jobs well, we make ourselves obsolete, right? And yet we have our day jobs and we're dedicated and we're crazy and we love what we do. So I'm gonna ask a couple questions just to kind of find out like what everyone's, like where everyone's at. So how many people have gone through San Francisco Sex Information Training? Awesome, awesome. How many people have worked the switchboard before or answered calls? Cool, cool, okay. And for people who aren't familiar with San Francisco Sex Information, you will occasionally hear me refer to it as SFSI, which is SFSI. It can kind of be confusing if you're not familiar with it, but it's, if I slip and say SFSI, that's what I mean. How many people have Twitter accounts in this room? Okay. How many people blog or have worked on a blog? Or okay. How many people have Facebook pages? More than anything. That's interesting. That's interesting. And how many people work in the tech business in one way or another? A minority. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So, how many of you have felt overwhelmed by social media? Yeah, seriously, it's like, where do you plug in? What service do you sign up for? So-and-so said this is cool, and then a year later the business is gone, and you're like, should I have done that? It was popular for a minute. It is really confusing to know where to put yourself and how to put yourself out there. There are a couple of really basic places and basic things to do to sort of park yourself. And I'm going to go over those in a second, but what I want to talk to you about first, before I talk about any of this, is what's unique about being a sex educator in the media landscape. The media landscape is not necessarily friendly for sex educators. Just generally, when you talk about sex, people are going to bring a lot of assumptions to you. They're going to judge you, which is interesting because our jobs are to be non-judgmental, right? So we go out there, we talk about things, we do a blog post, we make a tweet, we make a comment on Facebook or something, or we say that we're interested in sex education or sex information, and people are like, oh, you're a perv, or oh, you're going to break my website's terms of service because you're going to put porn on here because you talk about sex. Or, you know, you're obviously broken if you're interested in something like that. So you're going to meet a lot of judgment as a sex educator as you move through the media landscape, whether you're just having a Facebook page or whether you're pursuing it as a career or whether you're working as with an organization to try and create like a footprint for your organization out there. It's also the only area of media that's not considered legitimate and is not fact-checked. How many people lost their G-spots last week? Okay, see what I mean? We got those fuckers back, but it wasn't easy. And what I'm talking about is the British study that said that there was no conclusive evidence that G-spots existed, and we all kind of woke up and were like, damn, it was there when I went to sleep. And the media just grabbed it and spun it and spun it and spun it, and we're like, there is no G-spot, and a bunch of us were just like, oh god, here we go again. Like now I have to fill out the information, it's correct again, and it's just like, the media is really good at making a lot more work for us. So keep that in mind. They will put things out there, they will not fact check, they will not ask experts, they will not ask anybody who knows anything because they're just retarded. Also, websites and businesses will shut you down without a cursory look when you talk about sex, whether you're putting out pornographic images or you're just putting out Q&A or sex information or links to a sex information website. So if someone wants to troll you really hard and report you for terms of service violations, oftentimes you will get put in the bad bucket and people won't even take a look. They'll just be like, oh yeah, there's sex on that account, get that person off of there. So you have to be tenacious when you're a sex educator in the media landscape, and you have to be diligent and you have to be patient. And that's why we're more like Buffy than the other girls. We're made of different stuff. We have day jobs and we have a crazy passion. And that's something to keep in mind when you move through this world, is that you really need to be patient. And you have to understand that people don't understand what we do. And they bring all these presumptions to what we do. And you're going to be repeating yourself over and over and over again. And that's okay. And I'm sure you're used to it, especially if you worked at the switchboard. So, that said, most applies to media consumption. So, who is your audience? You're going online, you're saying things, you're doing things, you want to have something to say. Who are you saying it to? Who are the people that follow you? These are things to consider. Are the people who follow you, listen to you, read your stuff, are they friends? Are they peers? Who is your audience? Who is it that you're trying to reach? If you want to make any media online, this is one of the first things that you consider. Who is your projected audience? What are the markets that you want to get into? And think about, too, like, who's responding to you. Like, take a look at who sends you email. Take a look at the people who are into you. Are nerds into you? You know, like, think about all of these different markets. So then, when you think about putting yourself out there, also think about reverse engineering your audience. Take a look at what people are interested in terms of sex information, and think about, like, okay, so people are interested in this and interested in that. What would be the best way to reach them? And that really is where you have to go. So take a look at what your strengths are when you're thinking about putting out your media footprint. If you're working for an organization, think about the strengths of your team members. Who's good at what? Who's good at writing? Who's good at talking? Who's good at getting things done? Who's good at finishing projects? And think about also, like, what these strengths boil down to. Do you have people with audio strengths, writing strengths, visual strengths, sharing strengths? So something like a sharing strength would be linking, video, photo, news aggregation, music, art, dance, or performing. Believe it or not, you can work all of these strengths into a media footprint online. And there's a really good reason for it. So what you should do, first of all, is, and trust me, there's a really good reason for this, is sit down and think of what your top strengths are, your top 3 strengths. Whether they're, I know a ton about anal sex, and I'm also really good at dancing. Okay? It sounds crazy, but I'm going somewhere with this. Because the thing that you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you is you don't want to be a one-trick pony. You don't want to get pigeonholed for being the anal sex person. Tristan Taormino, who wrote, The Ultimate Guide for Anal Sex for Women, in an interview was like, I don't know how I became the anal lady, but I just am now. And it took her a while to sort of get out of that pigeonhole. So we're at a point now where, consciousness has shifted enough to begin to accept us and to begin to accept messages about sex that aren't like, ooh, look at the sex. And so with that in mind, we can go out there and have a multifaceted approach and be a person and be a personality rather than, ooh, you're just the anal thing, or ooh, you're just the oral sex lady. So that's why I'm encouraging you to think of a variety of different strengths to add to your mix of what you present to the world. So take your non-sex areas of expertise and apply your sex ed to that area. So for instance, if you are really interested in sex ed, or you're really interested in, getting out information about the work that you do in, the clinic, and you have a blog, and you write about your day-to-day experiences on your blog, and you're really, really into music, and you love to DJ at night, something else you could do to move yourself into other areas, and this is a hack, is start to make sex playlists. And you can put them on a lot of different websites. Or you can make it something that people come to your website for that also allows them to pick up other pieces of information about the sex information that you're trying to seed. And that's something that I've done a lot. And basically what that is taking things of interest to people that also relate to what I do, that can go into different places. So something like, I'll use the music playlist for instance. Take that and then take the playlist, put it on Last.fm, create a profile on Last.fm. People love the sex playlists. People are like, oh, this is a great playlist for hot and heavy session. This is a good make-out mix, stuff like that. And then it sort of brings them back around to like, okay, well, who made this? So they come back around and they come check out my site, and there I get to subversively populate their brain with all of my, all gender, all orientation, some, many, most sex positive ideas about a whole bunch of different things that I have on offer for them to check out. So you have to be subversive. And that's why I'm encouraging you to think of what your other strengths are outside of sex education so you can fold them into what you're doing and create other different hooks to bring people into the nexus of what you're doing. It works well. Oh, and really quickly, if you want to know what the formula for viral is, it's basically make something that's easy to share, make it funny, and make it tie into pop culture, and you're done. It's really not that hard.